Hey, how you doing? It's Tom Breeze here from Video Results. And today in this live stream, we're going to be talking about equipment and what sort of equipment you might want to be investing in because as you start using video in your business, you'll realize how powerful it is. And the chances are you're going to want to learn how to increase the quality of your video, but also make sure you stick to a certain budget. But also when you're thinking about the types of videos you might want to create, what sort of equipment are you going to be needing? And so in this video, I want to share with you how you can invest in the right equipment very early on, what sort of equipment you might want, how to make sure it's not too technical from the outset as well, which I know there's a big question around that right now. And also make sure that you become very successful with video without having to spend a small fortune. So hopefully this stream will be very useful for you. I've got a few gadgets and gizmos around me that I can hopefully share with you and show you what I use when I create our videos. But also when it comes to different types of videos, what sort of types of equipment I might want to use for different types of things. Good, and I want to thank those people that have left some questions for me because I'll make sure that I answer those in today's stream as well. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, and you're probably going to find me darting off and grabbing bits of bobs everywhere. The first thing I want to talk about is your camera. Okay, so there's obviously a lot of questions that people have around cameras, and let me just run you through from the lowest end to the highest end. Now we are live streaming right now using my webcam on my Apple Mac. I've got the iMac, whatever model it is. It's one of the latest ones with the i7 processor in it. I'm not too much of a technical whiz kid myself, but I'll make sure I stick the actual full model below this video at the end of the stream. In fact, Zosha, if you want to do that yourself, that'd be fantastic for me. I'll just send across to you all the links you might need in due course. But that's one level you can do. The live stream is fantastic. I create a lot of videos like this sometimes because, okay, the lighting might not be perfect, but what's happening is you're getting to see me in my own local environment, and that'll build rapport with you. I'm in the studio right now. You can probably see lots of things in the background. I've made lots of notes there that's on the board because I've been doing a little bit of work with stuff and then stuck our banner in front of it, so you can't see exactly what I'm working on. Yeah, you can kind of get a gist for how it works in the studio. But I'm here right now. I'm using the webcam because it's an easy way for me to communicate with you. Now you can obviously get different types of webcams, and I could probably invest in a better webcam than I'm using right now. But hey, we're live streaming. It's meant to be a bit more interactive, and it doesn't matter about the quality too much. And that's something I want you to focus on. It doesn't matter about the quality all the time. Sometimes it's very important to get the quality right, but sometimes not so much. So hopefully that kind of gives you a bit of an idea of how to use video in your business. And we'll talk about that in more detail as we go. But webcams are fantastic these days. You can use them for a variety of different things. I use them every now and again for product videos when I just want to add a quick update because it's the easiest. It keeps it at very low resolution, so it's low file sizes, so it's easy to work with, and you can upload very easily and get the information across to people. So when people want the information, when they want education, they don't care too much about the actual quality of the video, get the webcam out. That can work extremely well, but it builds a connection because it feels like you're actually getting to see the person in their local environment, in their environment that not everybody gets to see. So that's very important to do. Good stuff. Okay, if you want to upgrade then, I've brought some old cameras that I've got here. This one, if I can show you here, this is a flip camera. You may have seen one of these before, and a flip camera is fantastic for sticking in your pocket. This one is very old now. It's about 3 or 4 years old now. It's an Ultra HD, if you can see that, Ultra HD. And it's fantastic because you just turn it on and shoot camera, and then you just flip it out, and that's got a USB plug in it, and so you just stick that into your computer. Now that's fantastic because they shoot in, this one I think is in 720 HD, which is not the highest resolution. 1080 is typically the highest. You can actually get higher than that now. But this is a fantastic thing to be having in your pocket. Just shoot a video every now and again. Sometimes when you see me walking down the park, for example, you'll see me holding this at arm's length. If you can see like that, I'll hold it at arm's length. I'll be talking to the camera. And again, it's great because I'm moving, I'm walking, which is a great pattern interrupt, but also keeps the person engaged, and it allows me to kind of talk about story perhaps. This is no longer in production, but you'll see a lot of pocket cameras and very small cameras like this that are ideal for video marketers when they just want to grab something, say it very quickly, or film something, and they're really great for that purpose. You also may have invested in the past, because I know a lot of people did, in the Kodak ZI8. You may have seen a camera like this before, a camera like that. It's Kodak ZI8. This will film in 1080, so it's great, there's a bit more functionality to this. You've also got a external mic input there, so you can have a wired mic going into like a lapel mic almost on your shirt or whatever it might be, and as a result you can pick up audio much better. Going back to the Flip for a second, there's no audio input for these cameras, which is a big downfall really in the camera itself, because audio is probably your #1 factor. We'll talk more about audio in just a moment, but your Kodak's very good. These are now out of stock as well. They don't publish these anymore. It's called the Kodak Zoom now, I think it is. In fact, I'm not really up to date with it because these cameras aren't the best to go for any longer. The iPhone 5 is fantastic. Okay, iPhone 4 is good. Embarrassingly, I broke my iPhone 4 the other day, so I've now got down to an iPhone 3, which is just abysmal. I'm very soon to get the iPhone 5. Get in there. You got a good chance of kind of getting some good video with an iPhone 3, but iPhone 5 is fantastic. And there are some microphones you can get for them now where you plug them in the top or in the bottom now actually, and you've just got a little microphone that will come out, it's like an external mic, and it just picks up the audio very well indeed. Really surprised by it. So that's another factor when it goes forward with the pocket cameras. But just because pocket cameras aren't ever going to get the best quality, because you're not going to get the lighting right all the time, the quality of the actual video is not going to be great all the time, the iPhone is absolutely fantastic. But also, if it's already in your pocket, you don't have to worry about holding something else all the time. It's great for those impromptu moments where you just want to grab a video, do it very quickly, and because it's got internet connectivity, you can upload straight from the iPhone as well. And of course, that's going to be really beneficial moving forward, because that's where the future is. If you want to keep on uploading quick clips and streams like this, it's very easy to do it. And it's just about you getting very comfortable with presenting on camera, because you can get the confidence there. It doesn't matter too much about the actual the quality of your communication, really. You want to make sure it's as best as possible, but really being in touch with people on a regular basis, is going to really build a connection and rapport with people. So you know you've got some content to share with people. Send that content as concisely as possible. Create the video, upload it, and get that connection with people. That's really important to get that. Good. Okay, so we've talked about a variety of different low-end cameras as such, but also the iPhone's great. The next step, really, if you're going to invest in a camera, I mean, you can go for the £500 mark, and there's some Sony NEX video cameras that I've seen in the past, which are very good. You can get the interchangeable camera lens as well. So you've got a variety of different cameras at that price point that you can go for. But really, I recommend going to the grand price point, the £1,000 price point, or $2,000 or so. Because you do just get a lot more bang for your buck, really. There's many more things you can do with the camera, but also it means it's so much more flexible. And if you invest in something like a DSLR, you're going to find that you get really good video look, but also you're going to find that you get a very good quality picture camera as well. So you can actually take the stills and get fantastic quality. So you can go on holiday, and the husband or the wife is going to be very happy with you, because you'll be recording some great memories. Now let me just grab this for a second. This is the camera that I use for most of the videos that you will see me in. Now this is it's a Panasonic Lumix GH2 or DMC GH2. And the camera lens is the 14-140 lens that I've got on here. It's the standard lens you get. I think, in fact, it's the upgrade, but there's 2 lenses it can come with. In fact, if I just pull this off just for a second, so you can see the camera here. Let me just hold it. It's a bit more. It's like a mirrored effect for me, so I've got to be careful about how I use my my hands here. But you see the camera here. You can just press this button on the left-hand side here. There's a button there, if I can get my hands out of the way, and you can just press that, and this lens will slide off the camera itself. So this lens here is kind of where all the action is. It's the lens here that's very useful to kind of invest in, and this is kind of very expensive in comparison to most of the camera. But the lens is where it's all at, and so really you want to be focusing on the lens that you buy for the camera. But there's different adapters, so you can put lots of different lenses on, and it means that this one does all the tricks I need to do it. But you can get things like a pancake lens where it goes very wide, like a fisheye lens. You can go for longer zoom lenses. You can go for shorter zoom lenses as well. So there's a variety of different lenses you can get, which of course gives you some leeway as to the type of shots you might want to get. Let me just check. I've put it back on. Yep. Okay. So it's back on again. And then you've also got the body as well. So they're both about, I think if you buy them separately, they're about £700 each right now. But if you buy them together, of course they do deals where I think it's about £1,000 price mark. So let me just get this audio system off just for a second. So this is what you'll be investing in. This Panasonic GH2 camera. It's very, very good. It's got the screen on the back that can flip round as well. So let me just turn this on so you can see what it looks like. The battery's out at the moment. Let me just grab this adapter. Oh, I think I've unplugged it as well. Okay, well, anyway, I thought you'd better see that. Sorry about that. But obviously, this is the LCD display, which means you can actually watch yourself whilst you're recording, or you can watch somebody else whilst you're recording very easily as well. So it's great. It's got an adapter for audio, so it means you can take your audio directly in. And again, it's just a great camera. I fully recommend this camera, Lumix. Panasonic Lumix DMC GH2. They do have some more cameras coming out very soon as well, so don't necessarily invest just yet. Do your research around it. But as a camera that you can invest in and know you're going to get amazing quality, this one's very, 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 very good. Good. Okay, so that's kind of going to set you back a little bit more, and it's a bit more of an investment, but it means you're just going to get high quality shots. You can change the lenses in future. It's got everything you need. And it's got so many settings in there that will just get the shots you want, but also have the flexibility around it. There is a bit of a learning curve behind using cameras such as like a DSLR, but at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's worth investing that time and effort if you want to take video seriously. I didn't start off with a camera like that, and just to let you know, I started off with flip cameras, then I borrowed a camera for a while and rented some cameras, then I decided to make the investment and go for that larger DMC GH2 camera. And it gets fantastic results, and I'll never look back. And it's one of those things where I don't have to worry about cameras any longer, because I know it can get lots of different shots and lots of different lighting, etc., and it works very, very well. So that, in terms of cameras, that's where I would suggest you look at. If you don't have any investment, or you don't want to invest in anything right now, that's fine. You can also give us the software on your computer that will be things like Camtasia for a PC or for a Mac, or ScreenFlow for a PC or a Mac. Both of those are very, very good, and they can actually record presentations or what you're doing on your computer. And of course, when you use that, it's still a video that you can create. You can create some animation in it, and there's a variety of different types of videos you can approach that you can use there. So you don't actually have to invest anything. Camtasia for a Mac, it's around about £80, I think now, which works out at about $150 or so. In the PC, it's a lot more expensive for some reason. It's about £300. Well, that's probably about $500 or so, US dollars that is. And but again, ScreenFlow is a lot cheaper, but I prefer using Camtasia. But then again, it's like any of this equipment and anything you use. Once you get used to it, you'll see what it can and can't do, and as a result, you'll get many, many more better results from it. So it's worth looking into the types of cameras you might want to invest in. But talking about the future of video marketing, really more and more emphasis now goes into the iPhones, because they get fantastic results. I think you can see that the type of kind of the new Galaxy phones as well, they get some fantastic video quality as well. So they're very, very good. But you're never going to go wrong with a DSLR. You can obviously go to the next level and spend £2,000 to £5,000 worth of video camera. I would say it's not really needed unless you're going to always be creating like interview videos where you'll need two external mics, etc. But really, if you want to go to that level, probably that's another time for another different type of video, or go and kind of hire out some studio time. I know it's a lot more expensive, but it's worthwhile sometimes to go out there, get someone else to really shoot your video very, very professionally, get it edited professionally, because if you're going to do things like that, then it's worth making that extra investment. Good, so that's cameras. Hopefully I've answered all your questions about cameras. I will come back to all your questions that are coming in, because I've seen lots of different posts coming in from Facebook, so I'll make sure I cover those shortly. The next question is lighting. Now, when it comes to lighting, there are a variety of different things you can do. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that daylight, we've got some daylight coming in from here and also from back there as well. With daylight, you're always going to find it can be a bit troublesome, because light can go behind a cloud, and all of a sudden the exposure changes everywhere, and it can be a bit problematic, really. So be aware of that. Cloudy days are normally the best to film in, or bright sunny days, but then you've got to be aware that you don't want sunlight coming straight into your face, because you're going to be overexposed and everything else is going to go dark and you're going to go very bright, or you don't want the sun behind you, otherwise you're going to go very dark and everything else is going to be really bright. So you've got to bear that in mind. But when it comes to studio lighting, if you kind of want to be taking videos inside, then you probably will want to invest in some lights. Now you do get the type of lights that are the softbox lights, and I'm sure we can hook up some links below here. A company in the UK that are very good is a company called SMIC, but then again, go on eBay. There's a ton of different setups there. You want to get some softbox lighting. You don't want to go for fluorescent lighting. Sorry, you do want to go for fluorescent lighting. You don't want to go for halogen lighting. Halogen gets very, very hot and uses a lot of electricity, and is very expensive typically, and not right unless you're going to be using a studio and you need to use really, really powerful lights, or if you're shooting something from a long way away and you need to have those lights really powerful from a long way away. Instead, go for fluorescent lighting because it's be a lot cooler, the bulb, but also it'll give you daylight lighting, which is great. So it's like a nice bluish lighting. Much easier to work with, much cheaper, and also you'll find that it's normally much kind of less expensive on the electricity bill as well. I will show you a light here. Hang on one second. You can see how dynamic we are with the streams that we're doing right here. You can see I'm working in play. This is one of the lights that I've invested recently in. It works very well. It's got a diffused bulb, which means like it's a white bulb. And you've got the shutters here, so you can close it up and you can diffract it. This sent me back about £200, and I'll make sure I link up below where we got this from. But it's called a flow light. Let me see if I can show you the model number here. You probably get blinded here. Let me see if I can get that to you. So it's flow light fluorescent studio light, and the model is number FL110 something something. I can't see it because I'm showing you right now. But that is the light that I would use a lot of the time. I've got 3 of these, and we've got one above me that will shoot this way to the board over there, and we've got 2 coming in from the sides. And the reason we'll do that is because you want to have it evenly lit. You want to make sure you've got 2 coming in, normally from 45 degrees coming down at you, so coming down that way, and then one that would also light the background. That's really important you do that. Make sure you always light the background, because otherwise what will happen is you'll find that you become really bright and the background becomes very, very dark and it'll look all strange. So you do need to light yourself evenly, and you also need to light the backlight or the background in an effective way, and make sure that's as even as possible as well. You'll see right now, because we've got the board here, the painted wall here, you'll see over this area, if I can show you there, it's kind of like it become a little bit overexposed because it will become reflective, that type of wall. So obviously when you're doing the high-end videos, you want to make sure you'll be aware of that. So look at the video back, make sure there's no hot spots or anything like you can see over here right now. And you want to just be aware of that as you create your videos. But of course, this is a live stream, so I'm not getting everything perfect right now. I just want to communicate with you and talk to you. So softbox lighting is very, very powerful to use. I've got the lighting there, like the tubes there that are diffused already. And there's a variety of different types of lighting you might want to invest in. Anything from £60 all the way up to, well, thousands of pounds really. You probably want to invest in something to begin with where you just get the fluorescent lighting. Go for a 3-point setup lighting, so you get 3 lights in there. 1 to do the background and 2 on yourself. And then you should be home and dry in terms of making sure you can light things in the way that you want to. We got a question in earlier around the type of lighting if you want to light a product, okay, because you sometimes get the boxes, like light boxes, where you put them in and it's all white around it and you can light it from outside, so the light is just very, very even inside. You definitely want to go for at least 2 or 3 lights using that type of approach. And you put the products that you have inside the softbox light, and then you can take photos with it inside there as well. So light boxes are incredibly powerful to use. You put the products inside like a box of diffused light. Let me just try and show you. So you'll have, it's almost like it's like a sheet here. You can see this sheet here. This will go over a softbox light normally. But it's like a diffused light. Now, you can see my hand through it, but of course, when you're actually putting a light through that, it means that the light becomes diffracted and goes everywhere, and it becomes a lot softer, so it will light everything a lot better. And if you have 2 or 3 lights coming in through the through the light box itself, you'll find it will evenly light your product, and when you evenly light the product, you can take a photo of it and it'll be really nice, bright white, everything around the product, no shadows anywhere, and then you can normally use it in such a way where you can display it on your website and it will look absolutely fantastic, and it looks like it's a floating image as opposed to something sitting on a table that, like most photos on eBay, for example. So that will help you with lighting. Good, I hope that's helped with cameras and also with lighting. Now I want to talk about audio. Audio is very, very important. It's probably the number one thing to get right when you're shooting video. Now, when it comes to being in the pro setting where you've got kind of the studio, etc., you'll normally have other people working with you monitoring the sound. And if you're outside, even more important. But let me give you a few bits of advice on getting your audio right. One thing you can potentially do is get this. This is what I'm using right now. Hopefully it's nice and clear. This is a Blue Snowball mic. Okay, so Blue mics, and it's called a Snowball microphone. This is the older model. There's a newer one out, but it's a fantastic bit of kit because you can take the sounds from many different areas. You can stick this in the middle of a table, for example, and have a meeting and record the audio. But also this is a USB mic, so it will fit into your computer and record everything you want it to very, very nice and easily. I've created a lot of products around this, but also this called Pick It Up and have no kind of echo to it as well. It's a very, very good microphone, and I'd highly recommend the Blue Snowball mic. I haven't seen a better microphone than this one that I'm using right now. If you want to go to another level and you want to kind of really get very, very good audio, a good thing to do is look into getting a set of wireless microphones, and I'll show you here. This is a wireless microphone set. This is Sennheiser. Let me try and show you here. Sennheiser EW100 G3 series. It's great. It just uses 2 batteries in this. This is the receiver. This is receiver end. You also have the microphone end, and the microphone end will kind of have a lapel mic on it. Very, very good lapel mics, but these are the best in the range. You want to go for the Sennheiser. Make sure you invest in the newer models. If you see anything for dirt cheap, don't go for them because they're actually illegal in the UK right now. So you don't want to be using illegal ones because they use different radio frequencies or radio wave frequencies, which are actually illegal now. But the newer ones will be fine. They use a range that is legal. And you obviously just plug this in here. You've probably seen videos of me where I've been using this microphone before, and you just plug it in onto your shirt, and from there you probably want to plug it in around about that height or so, and then it will pick up your audio nice and clearly, and it will, if you've got them both on and you plugged into your camera, then of course it will pick up the audio very, very well indeed, and very kind of present as such. Doesn't seem like echoey at all or anything like that. You've got the receiver here, and that will normally plug into, and you might need to get an adapter with some cameras, but it will plug in to your camera, and you've got an adapter here should you need it, that then will plug into the GH2. Okay, so it just plugs into the side right there, if you can see, plugs in, and then you've got the adapter that will actually fit on top of the camera here as well. Good, okay, so that would sort out your audio a treat. You can get some shotgun microphones that will fit on top of your camera and point back to the subject that's actually presenting. But then again, you're always going to pick up a lot of external sound as well. So I'd kind of recommend go for the wireless mic route. Of course, if you're going to be, if you're thinking to yourself, well, that's cost a lot of money and I've got a camera already that doesn't accept external microphones, then go for something like this, which is actually just a dictaphone, and you can record the audio into the dictaphone. You can stick the lapel mic into the like a wired lapel mic into the dictaphone, and then all you need to do is later on sync up the audio and the video later on, just in some editing software. Okay, good. So that should describe audio. I mean, audio is your number one thing. If you have a buzz in the background or the audio is not very good quality, then people will leave the video very quickly, and of course that's not going to be helpful for anybody. So want to be aware of that. Sennheiser EW100 G3 series, and let me just try and show you that again. There you go. EW100 G3 series is the one to go for. Good, okay. So that is talking about lighting. We've talked about lighting, talked about cameras, talked about audio, and also, I mean, one thing that a lot of people ask me about is tripods. You can get kind of like smallish tripods like this. This one works very well. It's called a telescopic tripod because the legs will pull out as well, which is very, very useful. But also, I mean, the bigger tripod you get, the better really, because if lots of people are walking around it, or if you've got carpeted ground, if you've got a small tripod, it can move around, and you can notice on the camera sometimes, especially when the camera's right at the top of the tripod, which is obviously where it's going to be. If you walk near it and it has a little shake, you're going to notice that in the videos you create. So instead, you might want to invest in a heavier tripod, because it's going to keep your camera a lot more stable. Okay, so that's a word of advice on tripods. And I want to give you a little extra as well, because this is something where a lot of the hardcore video creators and hardcore presenters, etc., will kind of discuss with me and almost like get into an argument sometimes about auto cue, because people say that auto cue, if you use auto cue, you'll lose the connection with people. You'll find that you're reading instead of presenting, and it's all a bit too. It's not a connection any longer. It's not a one-to-one communication any longer, because you're just reading. And I understand that point of view, and you need to make sure that if you're going to use auto cue, you get very used to it. But my God, I've used auto cue with a lot of people now, and it's just amazing the actual results you get using auto cue. Now, here's an auto cue that I use. You can see the whole system here, and what happens is you've actually got the shield that shields all the lights basically, and you stick the camera behind this, underneath this the linen fabric basically part, and then you can see here that goes through. I don't know if you can hear me any longer actually, and this is probably making me look very strange. But you put the camera through here, and then you actually put an iPad on here. Use a bit of an app called ProPrompter, or there's many different apps that will do it for you. But you can sync it up with your iPhone and the iPad, and it means the iPad will display the text and have it scrolling down, and you can control that with your iPhone. Now that means your camera will shoot through this, and you'll be able to actually read the words and present to the camera at the same time. And of course, that's the perfect type of auto cue. Don't ever try and do the auto cue off to the side, or ever try and do notes around the camera. It's just way too obvious, and you can see people reading. But that said, you want to make sure that the camera is far enough away from the auto cue. Otherwise, you're going to see the presenter moving their eyeballs like left to right all the time. And if you do that, it's going to be obviously very negative indeed for the videos you create. So you want to make sure that if you're going to use auto cue, make sure you're far enough away, but also practice your script beforehand. Make sure it's colloquial. Make sure you almost can read it and it sounds like you're speaking. But keep it down to like 60 seconds on these types of videos. If you want to create a 5-minute video, don't go via auto cue. It just looks too wooden. It looks too kind of too preempted as such. Instead, the best thing to do is make sure that when you're creating video, get just very used to actually speaking to the camera as if you're speaking to a friend down the pub. Because if you have that mentality, it just connects with people. And of course, that's where the rapport builds from. And of course, business is all about building relationships. So let's make it our business to build those relationships. Good, okay, so that was like a little extra. I think that in the future, if you're going to be creating short videos, like for YouTube, for example, and you want to really connect with people, that is a great way of moving forward into the future and thinking, do you know what, if I want to get the sales pitch exactly right and every word counts, use auto cue, because you can do it over and over again. Just get very comfortable with it, wait till you get the perfect take, and of course, then you can use that when you go to the editing, and you're just going to look like an absolute superstar when it comes to your videos. Good stuff. Okay, hope that's helped. When it comes to editing, I use, just so you know, Final Cut Pro, Final Cut Pro 10 or X now on the iMac. It's very, very effective. If you're on if you want to go free, you can go for iMovie. It works very, very well. It comes with the software on a Mac. If you're on a PC, Windows Movie Maker is very, very good. Or you've got loads of different things like Pinnacle, or you've got Sony products, etc. That you can use, editing suites. There's loads of different ones, but the one I recommend is Final Cut Pro on a Mac, because that's the one that's just unbelievable, very, very easy to use, and does the job. But if you're going to invest in Camtasia or ScreenFlow, as I was talking about earlier, they can be very good for editing too. You just need to make sure you get the settings right. Good. Okay. One final thought, which is what I want to talk about, because this is important to note. Now, when it comes to video creation, there's always a discussion around, well, video quality doesn't need to be that good, or video quality doesn't need to be fantastic. It really depends on the type of videos you're creating. Okay, if you've got videos on YouTube and it's going to represent your business, and depending on your business, it might be a very corporate business, then of course video quality needs to be very high. Gone are the days where people said, well, video quality doesn't need to be that high because it's just about getting content out there. That's not the case for a lot of businesses. You need to make sure the quality is high, and it's all down to your viewer perspective and your viewers' perceptions and your viewer expectations. Make sure you fit with what the viewer's wanting, and if you do that, that's going to be really, really powerful for your viewers. If you're going to go for another area where it's almost like you're just like in the internet marketing field, for example, quality doesn't always need to be that high. Okay, doesn't always need to be super high, because people again are building connections, and that's what people are expecting sometimes. But here's a thought: if it's on YouTube and you're promoting your business, I would say go for higher quality. Not just you presenting, but you probably want to put some animation in there. You probably want to put different effects in there, because it just keeps it engaging, keep it moving, keeping lots of different locations, because it builds trust. But everything going on, lots of like high dynamic type of videos, if it's going to be like a one that promotes your business. If you want to build connection with people, lots of videos with like flip cameras or Kodak ZI8s or iPhones are fantastic, because it just builds connection with people. And they're great for blog videos as well, because again, the quality can be reduced a little bit. People aren't looking for the best quality any longer. They've got that credibility, they've got that respect with you. They're looking for a connection with you as a human being now. So very quick videos using your iPhone or etc. Videos like that can be very, very powerful indeed. And then you want to go for the next level, where it might be something like, so you might have a blog, you might have YouTube. If you've got a sales video, of course, when it's coming to ask people to invest in you, you want to have a level of credibility and quality there. So when that happens, you want to either go down the studio, or you want to create videos at a much higher quality. So using better equipment can be very, very powerful to do. Lighting, audio, and also your camera is very, very important there. We've done a lot of tests on this, and we noticed that we always get much higher conversion rates from cold and from warm traffic should we get a much better video out there in terms of the quality. Even if the scripts are kind of identical, if we get them right in terms of the quality of the camera and the HD quality, almost like the production quality, needs to be very high. Compared to low quality, you're going to get higher conversions, and it's normally worth it in terms of the investment you get. So if you invest in, let's say, £1,000 to get the shoot right, then of course you're going to be pulling that investment back and getting a very, very good return on that investment, because you'll get many, many more people buying your products and services. So that's of course very, very important to think about as you move forwards as well. It's what you put in is what you get out, or what you get out is more typically. So hopefully that's helped. If there are any questions around this, let us know. I know we've had some questions around light boxes, etc. So yes, very good for using that. Make sure you've got 2 or 3 lights to light your products when you do that. And also we talked about lots about kind of questions around the lower quality cameras, the higher quality cameras. That interim stage, I would say Sony NEX cameras are very, very good, just to let you know. There's lots of questions coming in now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a reply to your questions on Facebook right now. And I'll do that via text. But if you do have any questions or want to know more about this particular area, all you need to do is look below this stream or below this video, leave your comments there. Either myself, Zosha, Andy, Chris, one of the team will get back to you and answer all your questions hopefully, and give you as much advice as possible. But as always, make sure you like this, make sure you share this, make sure you tweet it, make sure you do everything you can to big us up, and we're really appreciating and connect with you. And we really look forward to sharing more videos and more streams like this in the future with you. So go to the page right now, leave your comments, and I'll speak to you very soon. Thanks very much, guys. See you in a bit.